Hey, what's up everybody? Dustin here, ATEM Off-Road. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all having a good day. If you're new to the channel, this is my LCG or low center gravity trailer build where just the idea is to keep the weight real low. And I never really had a spot to put this shower that I got from OPENROAD. It's a shower privacy tent. And I decided to build this 3.5-foot pop-up mechanism that bolts to the side of the deck lid. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I built it and how it works and the reason and basically all the designing of why I went with this. It's overall 65 inches in length from end to end. It weighs about 55 pounds and it pops up to 3.5 feet. So I've got this locking pin here and it automatically pops up. The mechanism from the mounting surface to the floor is 6 feet, and then it's 3.5 feet somewhere in between here, just based on the tube length. Now, I didn't want it to interfere with the way I pop up the tent, so it works like that. I didn't want to interfere with my roto packs or my gas tank here. And I didn't want it to add too much weight, even though it's a steel construction. So there's going to be a ton of improvement for this design. I've already thought about ways I can build it with aluminum and less materials. So you'll see, but this one is the prototype for this video, and I'm really excited to share with you guys. If you guys want to see or any interest in how I built this from scrap metal and basic hand tools in my garage, stick around and let's get to work. I've already gone ahead and made these brackets that will support this mechanism, and it's essentially just some scrap steel. I'm going to try to use as much as I can. I've got some 1/4-inch steel plate with 2 holes drilled in it, and then we've got 1.5-inch square tube. I've got 3 of them made up already to kind of help speed up the process. Now I'm going to bolt these up. I went and picked up some hardware from Ace. Essentially, it's just 2.5-inch bolts to fit through the tube or the holes that we're going to drill, and some washers, lock washers, and some nuts. So I've got the brackets bolted on nice and secure, and I've got them level, so everything is really nice and flat when we go to start tacking everything together. Now I've got 3 pieces in 34-inch lengths of this 4-inch 3/16 plate, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is build a base and essentially clamp this piece of steel to the 3 brackets and then tack it in place. That way we have a foundation to work off of. Now it's time to start working on the between frame that will house those pivoting arms for our pop-up. Got some prints here, kind of where I want to put the holes for the first upright tube and the second upright tube, and how we're going to offset those tubes so when this thing folds, we can have 2 tubes basically essentially laying on top of each other. So that's the idea. Take my drawings here and transfer them over to the steel. We'll drill the holes and then get them tacked in. I've got the holes drilled, and I've got one of the pieces just fit up here with my 90-degree magnet, and I'm liking how it's all squaring up real nice. I got to go ahead and tack this piece in now and then find our between frame distance, and then we'll tack in the second piece. And this is essentially going to be what's going to hold up the uprights for the pop-up. So I like where it's all centered up. I'm going to go ahead and tack that in place. So I worked pretty far into this project last night and then decided to end it because today's a great day. Beautiful day to be working on this project. I've got one of the upright tubes bolted in after getting all the holes pre-drilled. Can't weld this in yet because I still have a couple more holes I need to drill for these rubber bumpers. I'm going to put these in series in this area so those tubes for the pop-up have something to rest on, like a cushion, a piece of rubber. That way they're not chattering or bouncing around during transit. So can't weld this piece in until everything is bolted in and all the holes are drilled. And then lastly, I need to make 3 more tube pivots for bolting the tubes between the frames. Now I've got another frame I gotta build that's in the next part here, where it's gonna attach to the 2 upright pieces of tube, and it'll pop up about 3.5 feet tall. Now I did go with 1-inch 065 wall tube to support that piece up at the top and the shower, because pound for pound, square and round is always going to be a bit stronger than square tube. So I've got one of the upright tubes done, and it's pretty solid. Everything's welded in real nice and secure, and I'm working on the other one, and I wanted to share with you how that's going to be done. Now I've got these spacers in here. They're 1/2 by 3/8 through, and I'm going to need to make them as parallel as possible, because if they're offset in any way, it'll make the thing look funky, and it may not open and close real smoothly. It might bind up. So it's important we get these tubes parallel, and I'm just going to essentially use a laser with some magnets, run the laser down to the center of that hole that I've already drilled. On the one side, you can see the red line in the center of my marker, and I'm going to make a mark. So there you have it. We'll drill the holes, get them parallel, get those tube spacers welded in, get everything filed up real nice, and we'll get them bolted on to our framework so we can weld in our between frame. So I'm going to use 2 washers in between the frame. That way it can give the tube some way to mechanically pivot. Essentially, it's going to be the bearings of the tube for this pop-up. We'll do 5 4-inch welds, and that way we don't get too much heat into this framework. After that, I'll finish up some of the welding in the back of the frame, and then we can start working on setting up the gas strut. So this is a 120-pound gas strut, and it's got this strap around it. I've got to cut it and then figure out where the mounting locations are going to be. So like at fully closed, and then when it's fully extended. I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and we'll see where the distance is between mounting locations. I'm also going to thread the holes after I drill them. And then weld a nut to the end of the tube. That way it's as strong as possible. This is probably going to be the first thing that starts cracking out or gets fatigue or stress, as we don't want that to happen. So the stronger we can make the connection points for the gas strut to the tube in the frame, the better off. Got to figure out where the hole is that I need to notch out of the front of the frame. I'm going to start off with a 1-inch hole saw. I'll drill a hole, and then I'll cut to kind of make a slot for that one side of the gas strut and the tube to allow this pop-up to mechanically close and open during operation. So the next thing I'm gonna have to do is build the top framework. Very similar to the base here. We'll use that same dimension between frame and copy it or mirror image everything from down here up to there, and then it will mechanically link both of the tubes together so we have that folding or pop-up motion. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the setup here, and well, yeah, let's get to building that top piece. Just like the base of the pop-up, the top piece, we're gonna also have to offset that in relationship to the other side. And I've got the formula here. It's 7/8 by 2 inch, and that will allow us to be square when it's down and up. So I'll give you guys a quick screenshot of the formula for 1-inch tube, and then if you decided to do 1.5 inches, it's gonna be up here on the top. But other than that, I've got everything mapped out how I'm going to drill the through holes between the frame. I've got them clamped together, clamped to the bench, so nothing moves, and then we're going to start drilling holes. So I've just pretty much got everything done mechanically. It's all put together and it's working, actually functioning now. Go ahead and pop it up for you. Pretty awesome. Now from where I put the mounts for the shower privacy tent to the ground is about 7 feet. It's kind of tall, so I might end up just shortening it 6 inches. It's not really a big deal. There are some bolt holes. I got to get some more hardware, and I've also wanted to pin down this piece. This is actually a pinch point, so just be aware. And then I wanted to put a pin here, that way it's not bouncing around while we're on the trail and whatnot. Gotta unbolt it all. While I'm doing that, I'll paint everything up, get it all cleaned up with some alcohol, paint it up real nice. I've got the same paint, 2X plus primer, the satin black. I love that paint. Same paint as I've been using for all the stuff on the trailer. So get everything painted up and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna start with this first piece here. Just put a bolt. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the little pop-up mechanism. I know I'm really excited to get this thing out camping. It closes really simply. You just pull down. There is a pinch point here, so just keep that in mind, but it's really smooth, nice and quiet, how I like it. And then it locks and puts away, very simple. And that's what I wanted to do with this build, is just make it super simple, not interfere with anything else that I got going on in this tent. And it does add a bit of weight to the one side. I'll be building a kickstand for the deck lid. That way when you pop this up, that additional weight, maybe if a gas strut fails or something, we'll be able to have a hood prop, like a safety prop, just in case. So that's gonna be in the next video. Here in the future, I've got a couple other things I wanna do. We'll work on some electrical, get some battery and some lights hooked into this thing. Got some ideas for there. So yeah, there's a lot more coming in the future for the build. If you guys have any ideas or questions or comments, leave that in the description or the comment box below. I'll leave all the links to the materials that I used in this video. And if you guys like this content, hit the like button, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out the other videos that may be helpful to you in this build series that I have in a playlist. And we'll see you on the next video. Have a good day. Peace out.